What's up, dudes? It's your buddy, 5 Bar of Doom, and I want to talk to you about DYPs and why we need to bring back normal DYPs, dude. I don't know how this whole mega thing took over. I don't know who started it. I don't know whose fault it is, but we need to stop it, or at least sometimes run normal DYPs. And I think my main problem with the megas is that it reduces the variance of the outcome of these tournaments. And maybe you're thinking, but that's a good thing. No, it's bad, dude. Let me tell you why. So, you get all these people coming out to tournaments, right? And here's how a mega DYP works, usually. Some cities do their own different things or whatever. But typically, they'll run a bunch of individual, rounds, not in a bracket, just like a round robin type of thing, where they run all these different matches. And they kind of tally up points or whatever. So depending on, and you get a bunch of different random partners. So you play all these matches, and then you accumulate some points somehow. And then most of the time, the top, some top percentage of players will make it into a final bracket, where it's either a single elimination bracket, or in the case where we do it here, it's a single elimination bracket, but each round you get different partners. I don't know how the partnering works. Kind of a crapshoot as far as I'm concerned. But that's sort of how it works. Now, my problem with this is that you want people to keep coming back to these tournaments, right? Because, foosball is a hard thing to get into. It's hard to get new people into the game. And to be honest, I don't remember going to any foosball tournaments where it was a welcoming environment at all. You kind of need to know there's a foosball tournament happening. It's not like you walk into the bar and then the people running the tournament are like, "Oh, hey, we got this foosball tournament. Do you like foosball? Do you want to join this foosball tournament?" I think if promoters were doing a really good job, you would have that. But I've played at multiple cities, just all around the country. I've played in Denver. I've played, in a million different bars, different promoters. I've played in Vegas. I've played in Dallas. I've played here in Detroit. I've never seen a tournament where you go in and a normal off the street person knows about the tournament and feels like they can get in on it. Even if they walk up to the tables and kind of check it out, I just have never seen anybody kind of welcoming in and being like, "Oh, hey, join the draw," that type of thing. So it's we're not getting anybody walking in off the street. You know what I mean? We could, and I think you should encourage that if you can. But I'm just saying I never see anybody do it. So you basically have this group of people that are, for whatever reason, have stumbled into it and are coming periodically. Some of them are very good. Some of them are very bad, and there's obviously people in the middle. So the people that are bad, you want them to keep coming back. I would love to see everybody keep coming back and kind of keep leveling up their skills. Eventually, maybe go to a big tournament, that type of thing. But there's a lot of people who, that's just not going to happen. They're not actively trying to improve their game. They don't really care. They're kind of just messing around on a Saturday. It's like going to a movie or, it's just something to do. You go hang out with your buddies, hit the ball around a little bit. There you have it. It's just like a fun activity on Saturday night. And for the people that suck, they're always going to suck. You know what I mean? So what's going to keep them coming back? One is having fun, which, I think, periodically they will have fun. But another thing that keeps them coming back is to periodically get a win. You know what I mean? So I just think in the Swiss format, it makes it way harder for the very bottom tier players to get a win. You know what I mean? Because they first have to get into whatever top percentage of players in that initial round of players. You know what I mean? And most of the time they're going to be in the bottom. If they get good draws and stuff throughout, then maybe they could kind of rise up into that top half or top quarter, whatever it is. You know what I mean? A lot of the times in these smaller ones, it's a majority of the players, or it's at least half of the players. Some portion of the players get eliminated. So you're going to have the bad players get into that top half sometimes. But it's like a parlay. You know what I mean? It's they have to first get a night where they get into that top half, and then they also have to get like one or more good partners to carry them through that single elimination bracket. And that parlay of like getting enough good partners in the initial round, then getting the right partners all the way through to actually get into the money is difficult. Now look at a regular DYP. You're the shittiest player in the room. You enter the DYP. Here's my $5 or here's my $10. And why is anything $5 anymore, by the way? When I started playing in fucking 2000, and it was like $5 tournaments, and you paid quarters. Now we're still having $5 tournaments. Like, eggs cost fucking 10 times as much as they did in 2000. We're still paying the same entries. It's ridiculous. Raise the entries. But different rant. Anyway, you get into a regular DYP. You're Joe Nobody. You're Joe Rod Spinner. You enter the DYP and you draw, Tony Spreedeman, or you draw somebody better than Tony Spreedeman, like Mark Made, 5 bar of doom, and wham, rocket into the top of the bracket. But you see what I'm saying? It eliminates that parlay because you don't have to get lucky multiple times throughout the night. Like, you play five rounds to start, and you get good partners like 3 of those rounds. And then in the single elimination bracket, you either get a really good partner or you get a series of good partners so you can keep winning those matches. Like, you go to one of these draws and you get, you're the worst player. You draw the best player in the room. Boom. You just need that one lucky chance, and now you're like way more likely to win the draw. You know what I mean? I think another thing that we're missing about regular draws that like the Swiss, or like mega draw, monster draw kind of format is when you do get a situation where like a good player draws a bad player, in the monster draw Swiss kind of scenario, there's a lot less incentive for the good player to like coach the person or help them in any way. Because a lot of times you're just playing like one game with them. So you're kind of just like, get in the pits, loser, count the points. I'm just going to shoot my roller and do my brush pass. And I kind of don't care what happens. I'm just going to try to win the game. And if I do, great, I'm going to take credit for it. If I lose it, I'm going to say my partner sucked and I'm going to move on to the next match. You know what I mean? That's sort of how a lot of like higher players play draws. Play the mega draw. But if you're in like a regular DYP, they draw it up. Here's your one partner. And it's like, if it's a player that's not any good, you're like, man, this is going to be a rocky road, dude. I'm going to have to coach this kid a little bit. Like, okay, do this defense, set up your min here. They're doing a shot that's weird. Maybe you set them aside to show them a pull shot or, show them something about what they're doing. You coach them. And then you play one match, it's usually a double elimination. So like they play the first match, maybe it goes good, maybe it doesn't, but there's some things that were learned in that first match. And then in between matches, the better player can kind of take the person aside and say, cool, you did this good, you did that poorly, make these adjustments. And throughout the night, it's like you have this person you're partnered up with, throughout the night, which already is kind of more fun because there's more camaraderie because you have one partner the entire night. So you're going to be talking to him throughout the night. Maybe you buy him a drink or vice versa. And if the better player can like teach the lower player something about foosball, you know what I mean? And if they make it all the way to the finals, it's this really cool experience where you're like this really low rated player. Maybe you don't even have a rating. You don't even know what ratings are because you're just playing this draw. You draw this really great player, and you have this awesome experience where you win all these matches. The guy teaches you a couple things. Your defense probably improves a little bit. You learn something. Maybe the person's nice to you throughout the night, ideally. And you just have this great experience. And the only thing you had to do is just win that like 1 out of 16 chance of drawing the good player in like an 8-person bracket. You know what I mean? Like 1 in 15 chance you're going to get the number 1 player in the bracket. And it's not like high odds, but it's high enough to where if you come like several months you're going to draw that guy. You come like every week for like 3-4 months. You're going to draw that person on average once. Maybe you draw them a couple times. You know what I mean? Or maybe there's a few different people. Maybe you get 2 or 3 decent draws. You draw the very best player. You get first place because they get first place every week. You get this other person. You make it into the finals. And you kind of just learn throughout that process, But in the mega draw situation, you just don't have that. You know what I mean? And it's honestly a real bummer, dude. Like, I know people, I don't know when this came out. I personally don't really like it at all, personally. But I know a lot of people do like it. They're like, oh, you get to play a lot. Cool. I like to go home early if I suck, dude. I don't know. That's just me. I'd rather go to a DYP, go to and barbecue, and be like, welp. See you later. I'm getting a good night's sleep tonight. You know what I mean? I hate going to a draw, like one of these mega draws, where you go up there, play like dog shit first round, second round, draw total loser, and you're already playing like shit, lose that one, and you can just see the writing on the wall. You know what I mean? Like, tonight is not my night, but you gotta keep playing all these rounds. You're just dragging through this bracket. I mean, at some point, there's no point to even play the matches anymore. Like, if you get in the hole enough point-wise, you're literally playing matches for no reason. You know what I mean? Like, if you're just, like, negative, you're not even going to get into the final round. So you're playing these matches where even if you, like, absolutely destroy the other team, it's not going to bring your number up to a point where you're even going to make it into the, like, final round. So you're just playing all this pointless foosball. I mean, honestly, like, there is this movement in the foosball community to just make people play pointless foosball. These mega draws. Obviously, championship format. It's like, let's run out an entire bracket of useless foosball to give people a place that nobody cares about. You know what I mean? Third place. So it's like, I guess that's just like the theme in foosball is just like, more foosball is good. But I just completely disagree with that. You know what I mean? Also, if you play like if you play a regular DYP, it's kind of nice because, like, on the side of if you do suck and you immediately go out, you didn't play that much foosball necessarily, but at least it, like, just reduces the pain you feel of how shitty you are throughout the night. You know what I mean? It's like, you just play and play and play. You play a couple matches, you lose. Okay, we're out. You know what I mean? You stick around, you play some pickup games. That's what we always used to do, man. It's like you join the tournament, you lose, you stick around and play pickup games. And who's out of the tournament? All the other losers. So it's like, you bust out first. These other losers bust out first. Now it's loser versus loser pickup game, which is like the perfect situation because you're kind of at the same skill level. You know what I mean? So if you have enough tables to have some pickup games, it's actually really good. You know what I mean? And people will stick around. They will put the quarters in and they'll play those pickup games. In the mega draw, you don't get that chance. You know what I mean? So you don't really get, like, if you are the worst players, there really isn't a ton of opportunity to play the other worst players in the room in any matches because, like, everybody's just playing all night and then they get to that final single elimination bracket, and at that point there can be some pickup games, I guess, but it's just not as much as I would see in like a normal draw. You know what I mean? And then in a normal draw, if you are winning, or if the deeper you get in a normal draw, or just like a normal double elimination tournament in general, the excitement in each round goes up and up and up. You know what I mean? Whereas, like, the mega draw is just like, you just have kind of a grind of not exciting matches. You know what I mean? And it's like, with the way that we do it is based on points. So normally, like, if you have a 2 out of 3 match, and it's match point, meat nut, 4-4, third game, very exciting. You know what I mean? That's a very exciting time, high pressure. There's a lot of good things about it from a competition perspective. If you're in one of these mega draws where it's based on points and you're playing like a single elimination game and you get to 6-6, it's a zero excitement moment at the end of the match. You know what I mean? Because, like, you either win 7-6 or you lose 7-6, but ultimately it doesn't matter because it only moves your point up or down one way. I mean, like, by 1 point. You're either going up a point or you're going down a point. Like, maybe that's going to make a difference, but certainly not making as much difference as if I win this point, I'm going on to the next round. If I lose this point, I'm either eliminated from the tournament or I'm just straight up going into the loser's bracket. So I think it's just not good from a like competitive perspective either. Like, because eventually, you know, ideally people would go to these big tournaments. You know, a lot of them are single eliminate, you know, this, you know, stupid championship format, or they're double elimination tournaments. You know, a lot of them are double elimination. And you will get to the point where it's like 4-4 third game is very important. But if you're always only playing this, like, you know, race to 7, everything's based on points, you're not used to playing with that level of pressure on you. You know what I mean? And, like, that level of pressure is also what makes you a better player and will make you perform better in those, like, high pressure competition, you know, moments that you get to. You know what I mean? So, yeah, and also just like, you know, you get deeper and deeper in DYP, it gets more and more exciting. You're like, oh, what place are we in? Oh, we're at 4th. Oh, we're at 3rd. You know, we're about to play for 3rd. We could get in the money. Oh, we're in the finals. You know what I mean? Like, you have each of those steps in a DYP, and it's getting later and later in the night, but the excitement ramps up and up and up. Whereas if you play like a mega draw, it's just this boring grind of foosball. I mean, I had to kind of condition myself in these mega draws to just mentally just think of it as like foosball practice. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just going to grind out all these matches, just kind of treat it like practice because there's just very little excitement. I mean, the other thing too is like signing up for a mega draw is not exciting. Whereas you sign up for a regular draw, you know, anything could happen, dude. Like, you could draw the best player in the bracket. And at that point, the tournament is kind of yours to lose. You know what I mean? Like, you're way ahead of the game if you draw that really good player. And that's just, like, really exciting. It's exciting for anyone, but it's certainly exciting for a newer player or a less experienced player. And you're robbing them of that in these, like, mega draw formats. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, I guess that's about it for my rant on why we should have regular DYPs and why these mega DYPs are not the thing. I mean, the other thing, too, is looking at a computer screen and just seeing, like, where you don't even know what's happening. Is that exciting to you? I hate it. You know what I like? A paper bracket where it's a double elimination tournament. You can see very clearly where you are on this bracket. You know what I mean? Is the tournament, where are we at in the tournament? You can just look at the bracket and see exactly what's going on. Not this fucking, like, Excel spreadsheet, whatever BS, where it's just, like, all these names and some numbers. There's no way to tell, like, how many more rounds are there? How long is this tournament going to go? You don't even know what you're looking at. You know what I mean? Whereas, like, you have that nice bracket. You can see exactly where you are in the bracket, exactly how many matches you need to play to get to the money. A lot of the times the promoter would write the payouts right on the bracket. You know, first place $100, second place $50. It's much more shareable on social media. You know, click, take a picture of it. Look at this, look at the bracket. You have all the information on the entire tournament in this very easy to consume format. How are you going to share a mega on social media in any meaningful way? It's just like this fucking spreadsheet of nonsense. You know what I mean? Like, nobody can look at that and understand what it is. Like, people understand what a single elimination or double elimination bracket is. Like, people have played other games. People have played other sports. You know, growing up, you're in a baseball tournament or you're in some, like, soccer tournament or March Madness. Everybody's betting on March Madness, Final Four. Like, people understand a double elimination bracket. So you can just post it and people will be like, oh, cool, you got to this place. Like, it's just easy to consume. It just tells the whole story in one screenshot. Whereas this stupid computer crap It just doesn't cut it, man. So, is my rant over? I think it is. So that's it. Do I expect anything to change? Of course not. Nothing's going to change. But, you know, I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments what you think. Should we bring Mega Draws back? Should we stop it with this Mega Draw insanity? Or am I an idiot and Mega Draws are the best thing ever for some reason and you just really prefer that format? I do not. But that's just me. Well, that's it for me today. Thanks for listening, and hit that subscribe button, especially on YouTube. I would appreciate it. And thanks, guys. I'll see you in the next video.